I'd like to ask our student board member to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Before we get started tonight, and I'm going to ask everyone to bear with me, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence in honor of Gavin Fournier. Gavin was a student at La Quinta Middle School who passed away on December 2nd, 2024. I can say firsthand that he was a truly kind kid. There should be more Gavins in our world. He wasn't just a student, but he was a friend, and we will mourn this loss deeply. Let us take a moment to remember him, to reflect on the positive impact he had on all of us, and to send our thoughts and prayers and support to Veronica, Garrett, their family and friends during this incredibly difficult time. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay. Breathe. Roll call will reflect that all board members are present, as well as cabinet and superintendent. We also have our student board member present, Litzy Carrillo Rodriguez, representing Amistad High School. And Dr. Mabelmar.
Yes, we're going to begin this evening by doing oath of office for one of our newly elected board members. So, Ms. Pierce, if you'd meet me down front.
Approval of the annual organizational meeting agenda. Is there a motion to approve the the agenda for the annual organizational meeting of December 17th, 2024?
So moved, Porras.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Annual organizational meeting. Board of Education President. Is there a motion for the President of the Board of Education?
I move that we nominate Dr. Watson for president.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0.
If I could interrupt momentarily. Thank you. So, as is our tradition in Desert Sands, at the conclusion of someone's term of office as board president, although you were just reelected, I do have a plaque for you on behalf of the board, cabinet, and myself for your year of service. And thank you so much for all that you give to this board and to Desert Sands.
Education Vice President. I make a motion to nominate Trustee Duran for Vice President. Is there a second?
Second.
We'll go
Porras.
Linda. Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Do you want to switch? Mr. Duran, you're switching seats. Hi, friend. Hello. Secretary to the Governing Board, I make a motion to approve Dr. Kelly Mae Volmar for Secretary of the Governing Board. Is there a second?
Second, Porras.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. County Committee on School District Organization Representative, is there a motion to nominate?
So moved.
Is there a second? The list.
There's not a list. This is the board that Linda currently serves on.
Oh,
so we
that's
need a
right.
nomination from our board.
So,
I will nominate Linda.
okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. So approval of the election of the representative for the County Committee on the School District Organization. Nomination for representative is Linda Porras. 2025 day, time, and place of the Desert Sands Unified School District Board of Education regular meetings. Is there a motion to approve the 2025 day, time, and place of the Desert Sands Board of Education regular board meetings? Is there a second?
Second, Porras.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Certification of signatures. Is there a motion to approve the certification of signatures?
Move approval, Duran.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of November 12th, 2024?
So moved, Porras.
Is there a second?
Second, Duran.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of November 21st, 2024?
So moved, Porras.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 19th, 2024?
So moved, Porras.
Is any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. Preferential vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Board meeting addenda, Dr. Mae Volmar.
There are no addenda to the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Oh. Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda of the regular meeting of December 17th, 2024?
So moved, Porras.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. Preferential vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Community staff and student recognition, Dr. Mae Volmar.
Yes, I'd like to invite Jan Diaz up to the podium. We do have a few recognitions this evening.
Good evening, everyone. At the October 1st school board meeting, we celebrated the remarkable achievements of 6 of our elementary schools, all recognized by the California PBIS Coalition, for their outstanding implementation of positive behavioral interventions and supports. This framework strengthens school culture and climate, helping to improve both behavior and academic outcomes for our students. 3 of these schools received the highest honor, Platinum, for excellence across all tiers of PBIS, including Herbert Hoover Elementary. Although our Hoover principal couldn't join us in October, we're delighted to have Dr. Karen Schibler and a few of her team members here tonight. If you'd like to come on up, please.
I'd like my team to join me because they are the ones who did all this hard work.
Hoover team, come on up. We extend our heartfelt congratulations and have a certificate, yes, to honor you. Yes. We honor your hard work and dedication. Your commitment to creating a thriving, supportive environment for our students is truly inspiring. To earn this recognition, schools complete a rigorous, evidence-based application and underwent a site validation visit to demonstrate their commitment to meeting PBIS standards with fidelity. Congratulations again to Dr. Schibler and her amazing team, as well as to all of our schools for these outstanding achievements. Congratulations. The next item is an exciting one. Every year during Red Ribbon Week, our students are given the opportunity to express their creativity and compete in a poster contest. We're honored to have 2 winners in our district from last year, so it's with great pride that we congratulate Maya Noel Perez. Her artwork is up on the screen. If you'd like to come up, is Maya here with us tonight? Yeah, come on up. She's now a 5th grader at Washington Charter Elementary, and we'll also welcome up Gabrielle Coloma, currently an 8th grader at La Quinta Middle School. Come on up, Gabrielle. And her amazing artwork on the screen. Their creative designs beautifully captured last year's theme, Be Kind to Your Mind, Live Drug-Free, in the Carol Addis Red Ribbon Week poster contest. Your artwork is an inspiring reminder of the importance of making healthy choices. Well done. Thank you. And finally, the Indio High School cross-country team had an outstanding season marked by several impressive accomplishments. For the first time in 6 years, both the girls and boys teams were crowned Desert Valley League champions. The team was also selected out of over 1,600 high schools as November's CIF Team of the Month. Individually, the team excelled with 6 male athletes earning all Desert Valley League honors, and 4 female athletes receiving the same distinction with DVL. Additionally, 10 male athletes and 5 female athletes made it onto Indio's top 100 all-time performance list, showcasing their exceptional athleticism and dedication. These achievements reflect the hard work and commitment to excellence in and out of the classroom that our student athletes embody. We're proud to recognize our Rajas, beginning with coaches. If you want to come on up, coaches, Santiago Briones and Belen Higuera Munoz. Come on up to the front, and then I'll start reading off our athlete names. If you can join me up front for, yes. So starting with our girls cross-country athletes, Mia Briones, Annika Coronado, Audrey Drumheller, Bella Martinez, Adeline Patino, Estefani Ramirez, Marlene Soto Zuniga, Jasmine Vinale, and Kayla Wilson. Thank you for being here. Okay, and our boys cross country side is Jesus Botello, Joe Campos, Anthony Flores. Am I going too fast? Okay, yeah, we have a lot of students that aren't here. We'll have the coaches give the certificates to the students that aren't here. Next is Angel Gonzalez Ramirez, Jonathan Hernandez, Ian Madrigal, Pedro Martinez Soto, Isaac Mendez, Sebastian Munoz, Rafael Posas, Isai Ramirez, Matthew Rosales, Carlos Santos, Anthony Silva, and Mario Tascano. Congratulations, Rajas. We're very proud of you. Did you have it? Jaden Wilson is our last. Thank you. We'll get you your certificate. Congratulations, Rajas. Thank you, guys.
That was good improvising.
Congratulations. Thank you. That concludes our recognitions for tonight. Thank you, and happy holidays from our entire communications team, myself, Tamara, Adriana, and Miriam. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Introduction of new or recently promoted employees, Dr. Mabelmar.
Yes, I'll turn it over to Dr. Hyde.
Okay, good evening. I have two introductions that I'm very excited about today, and I'd like to ask Dr. Orrin Jackson, our new coordinator of diversity, equity, and parent and family engagement, to come up to the dais. Dr. Jackson. Dr. Jackson earned his Bachelor's of Arts degree in Liberal Arts from California State University at San Bernardino. He actually has two master's degree, a Master of Arts degree in Education, Curriculum, and Instruction from Chapman University, and a Master of Arts in Educational Administration from California State University at San Bernardino. He earned his doctorate in Educational Leadership and Educational Justice from the University of Redlands. Dr. Jackson has been with Desert Sands for the last 10 of his 32 years in education, serving as an assistant principal and principal at Horizon Summit, and most recently as an assistant principal at La Quinta High School. I also know that Dr. Jackson was a middle school principal and assistant principal in another district. Dr. Jackson would like to recognize his wife, Maggie Jackson, his daughter, Addison Jackson, and his little sister, Janelle Hunt. Lastly, Dr. Jackson wants everyone to know that everything he is and everything he aspires to be, he owes to his mother and his grandmother. Dr. Jackson, congratulations, welcome. Please introduce anyone that might be here for you and say a few words.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the Cabinet and the school board for giving me this opportunity. And I approached this job the same way I've approached every other assignment in the last 32 years, and really under the umbrella of servant leadership. My goal is to be a resource for families, for students, for administrators, and for teachers. And so I'm going to continue to take that approach and serve our district as best I can. I'd like to recognize Maggie Jackson. My wife and my daughter, Addison Jackson. Addison just had a 17th birthday, so I'm very proud of her. And last but not least, my little sister, Janelle Hunt. She's an administrator for Palm Springs Unified School District. But again, I want to thank you guys for this opportunity, and thank all of you for your support. And most importantly, I'd like to thank my late mother and my late grandmother. And I meant what I said. Everything that I am and everything that I will ever be is because of those two ladies. So thank you.
Honored to introduce Ephraim Jacobo, our new security manager. Mr. Jacobo, if you could stand up to the dais, please. Ephraim is a graduate of the Ben Clark Training Center Law Enforcement Academy through Moreno Valley Community College. Mr. Jacobo has worked for the Imperial County Sheriff's Office for 17 years as a correctional officer, patrol deputy, investigator, and patrol sergeant. During his time with the Sheriff's Department, Ephraim also served in the following collateral assignments: mobile field force team member, jail training officer, field testing officer, drone operator, patrol mentor, and Imperial County Deputy Sheriff's Association vice president. Ephraim is a self-proclaimed comic book nerd and sports fan. He also enjoys traveling and spending time with his family and friends. He would like to acknowledge and thank his fiancée, Elizabeth, for her support, and their two dogs, King and Athena. Ephraim, welcome to Desert Sands Unified. Please introduce any guests you might have with you and say a few words.
Thank you very much. As Dr. Hyde stated, I'm Ephraim Jacobo. I come from the Imperial County Sheriff's Office, and my fiancée, Elizabeth, is here present. She just got off work from the Riverside Sheriff's Office, and she rushed to make it here on time. I'd like to thank the board, thank the staff members, parents, students, and community members for putting their faith in me and selecting me for this position. For the last 17 and a half years, I was an asset at the Imperial County Sheriff's Office, typically receiving very well remarks on my evaluations and going above and beyond what was expected of me. I look forward to bringing my experience and everything that I've learned throughout my career and bringing it here and utilizing my skills and abilities to ensure that the students are safe, the staff are safe, and the school grounds themselves are safe and secure. I not only look to be an asset as a security manager, but I look forward to once we're settled down and moved in, possibly volunteering my time and becoming a coach at one of the schools, either baseball, football, or a strength and conditioning coach, as I'm a huge sports fan and very knowledgeable. And as you heard, I've trained a lot of new deputies, so if I can train them to do the job, I'm sure I can teach the students how to play the games right and proper and play them safely. And thank you very much.
Our order's a little bit different tonight, so since public comments are scheduled later in our meeting, I'd like to take a moment and invite the board to share any remarks or congratulations on our new and recently promoted employees or our staff and student recognition.
So I just want to say congratulations to the drug poster contest and the Indio High School team. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to congratulate the two winners for the drug posters. And sometimes, I don't know if theirs qualify, but sometimes it's put into a calendar for the year. I don't remember their standing on that, but that's quite an honor. Also, congratulations to the boys and girls Indio cross-country team and their distinction as the DVL champs. That's quite an honor, and the CIF Team of the Month. So my congratulations to you, and keep it up. Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the two artists, fantastic artists, Maya and Gabrielle. Gabrielle, that is just phenomenal. That art, that's just like amazing that you drew that. And I hope to see those on a calendar. That would be great. And of course, Raja's Rule. I mean, I'm a Raja, so congratulations, Rajas. You guys rocked it, and I'm so proud of you. And I just want to say congratulations to Dr. Jackson. I think this is an excellent position for you, and I know that you'll give your heart and soul to that, and you're going to do an awesome job. It's great to see your family. I've never seen your family, so it's great to see them here with giving support. And Mr. Jacobo, congratulations on your position, and I look forward to you keeping our school safe. So thank you so much.
Just want to echo the sentiments of our colleagues and congratulating our artists and definitely our Raja team, as we're Rajas up here, and Amistad. But you know what? I was sad to hear about how they couldn't compete in the CIF. There's a lot of things we don't always agree with in life, but you know, keep up the spirit and the sentiment of fighting for the future, because there's going to be other opportunities in your life to really shine. So I'm glad to see that you guys are keeping your head up. And to Dr. Jackson, congratulations, sir, on your assignment. Every position, I believe, is critical to an aspect of our district. There are some that are going to require a balance of ensuring, you know, diversity, equity, inclusion, and sometimes you're going to have to call things that you see need to be called on. So we're going to appreciate that lens and that perspective. And to Ephraim, just thank you for joining our team. I know it's a tough task, ensuring the safety of everyone here at our district. There are many great people within that department who really excel at their position. We look forward to seeing your training and experience benefit the district. So welcome, sir, and we wish every one of you success in your endeavors.
And I'll just repeat the sentiments of everybody again. I want to thank our two student artists who came up and won their awards. What a wonderful tribute that is. I think the arts are something that oftentimes we overlook as a community, a society, and a people sometimes, and I think it's really important and really valuable. And so to those two students, I really take my hat off, and I want to give them a big kudos. To the cross-country team there from Indio High School, I'm also a Raja. I remember what a tremendous history and legacy that we have as Rajas running for many, many years. I know about so many cross-country runners, and your futures are bright and will be in front of you, and you'll do a fine job. And again, my heart goes out to you on the recent decision by the CIF board there. I don't think that was appropriate, but nonetheless, I think at the end of the day, you guys all have, each and every one of you have a bright future. To the recently promoted staff that we have here, congratulations. I'm proud to be a part of the team with you, work together with you, our new security director, and also with you, Dr. Jackson. It brings me much joy to see the advancement and the continued success of so many of our employees as they move up the ranks and through the ranks of here at Desert Sands. So I'm very proud of that fact. And then I also want to welcome Amistad for being here. Ms. Carrillo there at the end of the dais. She's a fine representation of the school. I think it's important that we all, take a look at the opportunities oftentimes, and not so many times the things that happen maybe to us or around or about us. So thanks again, everybody, for coming this evening, and congratulations to those of you, again, that have either won awards or have become a part of our staff and our team. Again, thank you.
I won't repeat everything that was said, but I agree with everybody up here. I will say safety and security of our staff and students is on the top of my list. So I'm always happy to see when we're adding to that team. I also want to thank Ms. Carrillo Rodriguez for being our only board member that came to the CSBA conference last week. So I was happy to see her there. And then last, I always want to recognize our admin that are here supporting your school and supporting your students. So thank you for being here. And at this time, I'd like to give, do you want to say anything real quick? Okay, at this time, I would like to give everybody that came for recognition the opportunity to go celebrate with your family and friends, unless you're planning to stay for the remainder of the meeting. But please, I believe, go out to take a picture on the stairs. Okay, information. One, the annual financial audit report 2023 to 2024 fiscal year. Two is Measure KK election of 2014 Government Code Section 53410 annual report. Three is the fiscal year 2023 to 2024 annual report of community facilities districts, CFDs, within the Desert Sands Unified School District. Four is Palm Desert High School students will participate in the showdown in the desert in Anthem, Arizona from February 21st to 22nd, 2025. Five is La Quinta High School's Globetrotters Club educational first tour to Ireland from April 19th to 27th, 2025. And six is the 2025 Board Member Representative Committee appointments. 15 is staff conference items. Dr. May Volmar.
Yes, we'll start off our staff conference items this evening with our report from Amistad High School, and I will turn that over to our student board member.
Hi, yeah. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's here today, and thank you so much to my principal. Unfortunately, it is my last meeting. I'm graduating on Friday, and thanks to my school. And I just wanted to show you guys a quick video of how amazing Amistad is.
Thank you so much for letting us present on everything that's happening here at Amistad High School. So our mission at Amistad is that graduates will be ready for college, career, and community building. So how are we achieving this? We are investing in the systems that are going to help us move toward our vision. In particular, we are investing in everything that helps us support students of diverse backgrounds. We're investing in creating safe and supportive settings. And we are investing in training and staff to foster positive relationships. The reason this is important is because we take students who struggle to find success within the context of a traditional high school, and we focus on building a support system for each one of those students. As students learn to navigate these support systems, they become self-advocating and start finding success in the classroom.
Before coming to Amistad High School, I used to skip school every day. I didn't do any assignments, and I was failing all of my classes. Now that I am here at Amistad, the staff make me feel comfortable, and they help me when I need it. Now Amistad is helping me get my credits. I feel Amistad saved me and is going to help me secure a better future for myself.
Now that I am here at Amistad, I've been more at ease about graduating. I also feel the most comfortable and sane here that I have ever at any other school. Because thanks to Amistad, I now have a chance to graduate early.
So let's talk about what it means for us to provide these supports that help students feel successful. Here at Amistad, our focus is on MTSS interventions and best practices, and we're building our facilities and our SEL programs to reflect the needs of our students. First and foremost, we're providing resources to students who have diverse backgrounds and diverse needs. In doing so, we foster a sense of safety, support, and interdependence. One of the ways we do this is by offering services on campus that meet students' needs and putting staff members at the helm of these in order to encourage student-staff interactions. What services do we offer? Well, our facilities include a weight room that is available to students throughout the day, all week. The weight room is run primarily by our principal, but we have other staff members who also go in and lead students in workouts and in using the equipment safely. Zendan space students can access daily. Here, students can speak to our school-based mental health therapist, and they can even spend some time there if they need self-regulation throughout the day. We also have the thrift store available to students, where students can go if they're lacking personal hygiene items, warm clothes, and other necessities. This includes anything they might need for their families as well. The thrift store is run by our student assistance program counselor, as well as teachers and paraprofessional volunteers throughout the day. Now, these facilities are the ways that we keep all of our students connected on campus. But what about those students who really need some additional supports? Those Tier 2 students who might need help with behavior or academics, emotional regulation, we're building those SEL programs for them as well. This year, we're very lucky to have our SAP counselor on full-time, and we have a mental-based health therapist. And what we've done is we've utilized them and their training to help develop restorative circles and DBT training. So once we've connected students to the resources that they need, what are we doing to make sure that they're successful in the classroom? Well, we're following the district's plan, of course. We're making sure that we combine engagement with WICR and SEL strategies across the board to help students connect with their academics. And the way that we're doing this is by combining all three of these pillars in a program that we have developed and are calling ASA, Academic Success Academy. ASA is a course for all new students where they receive AVID and SEL strategies and focus on all aspects of WICR. This happens during a first period, and it allows for collaboration, group lessons, preparing students with the tools they need to succeed. And it's working. The data shows that in just the first quarter, our absences were lower in our students who had ASA than in the general population. And our incoming students, quarter one of this year, had the highest overall grades of any incoming group. We are so proud of the work that we do here at Amistad, and we appreciate the time you have given us to show you all the ways that we get students connected on campus so that they have the confidence to do well academically, join our CTE programs, and ultimately become college and career ready.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And as this is your last night, as you mentioned as a board member, and congratulations that you're graduating tomorrow, I have a plaque for you on behalf of the board and myself to recognize your service as a student board member.
Okay, and at this time, I would like to express our gratitude to you as our student board member for your dedicated service to both the board and your school. Your time and contributions are greatly appreciated, and at this point, I'd like to excuse you so you can go enjoy your last couple of days. The annual financial audit report.
Thank you. Good evening, Board, Superintendent. I'd like to introduce you today to the Senior Manager for Eide Bailey, our auditor, Alan So. He's going to go over the 2022 or 23-24 annual financial report or general audit, and also an audit of Measure KK, our bond program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan So. I'm with Eide Bailly, the audit firm that performed the audit for the 23-24 school district of Desert Sands. The first audit that I'm going to go through is the overall audit for the district, which consists of 3 separate opinions that we go through. The first opinion that we issue is related to the financial statements of the district. We issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest opinion that can be issued for an audit, meaning that the financial statements were free from material misstatements. In addition to the financial statements opinion, we also did not note any internal control deficiencies, so therefore we had a clean audit for the financial statements of the district. The second piece of the audit is where we audit the federal compliance of the district programs. So this is based on a rotational basis and a risk assessment each year. So during the 23-24 fiscal year, we audited the ESSER and GEAR federal program funds, and we audited the Title I Part A funds, and then we also audited the Child Care and Adult Food Care program. Out of the audit of those 3 federal programs that we performed, we issued an unmodified opinion on those 3 federal programs as well, and also no internal control deficiencies were noted. The third and final piece of the audit that we perform is related to state compliance. We audit the state compliance based on the audit guide that is issued by the state each year annually, and based on our audit, we did issue an unmodified opinion as well for all the federal programs. Related to the internal control reporting, we did notice significant deficiencies related to 2 areas that we audited, which is related to the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, which is due to the district or Palm Desert Charter Middle School not offering the required program days. In addition to that program, we issued a significant deficiency related to classroom teacher salaries, which is related to the percentage of spending of teacher salaries related to the total expenses. This is a pretty common occurrence that we are seeing within this year, and is largely due to districts spending down of one-time funds such as ESSER and GEAR, and then we anticipate that this not to be an issue in the future once districts spend down those funds. Any questions related to those 3 pieces that I've talked about? Okay, and then now I'll go over the audit for Measure KK. Measure KK audit consists of 2 portions. The first portion is the financial statement audit, which we audit the financial statements specifically for Measure KK funds. And based on our audit of the financial statements of Measure KK, we did not note any issues or any audit adjustments. So the financial statements were fairly stated, and we issued an unmodified opinion for those financial statements. In addition to the financial statement audit, we also perform a performance audit related to Measure KK. This is where we audit the expenses and compare them to the ballot measures that was voted through the votes. Based on our audit of the expenses, we did not note any expenses that were out of compliance with the ballot measures. Any questions?
No questions. Thank you for both audit reports.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Wood.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome up to the dais Dr. Michael O'Neill, our Coordinator for Assessment and Accountability, who will be presenting on the California Dashboard assessment results for our district.
Good evening. Tonight I'll be sharing our district performance data from the state indicators on the 2024 California School Dashboard. The state indicators are measures of school and school district success for 14 student groups that help us identify areas of success and areas for improvement. The California School Dashboard is California's accountability system. The dashboard includes multiple measures for the 8 LCFF state priority areas that drive our local control accountability plan, which supports unduplicated students. The dashboard includes 2 types of performance indicators, local indicators and state indicators. Local indicators are shared with the board each June with the adoption of the LCAP and are reported publicly on the dashboard each year. State indicators include measures of 4 LCFF priority areas using data gathered from both state assessment results and data reported in California's Longitudinal Pupil Achievement and Data System, also known as CalPADS. Today's presentation will focus on the state indicators. Let's first look at our state indicators, starting with the academics, which include English language arts and mathematics. Academic indicators for English language arts and mathematics are calculated based on student achievement on the 2024 Smarter Balanced and California alternate assessments. These assessments are based on the California state standards for English language arts and the literacy and the standards for mathematics, and are administered to students in grades 3, 8, and 11. The academic indicators measure how many scaled score points each student is from meeting standard to create a distance from standard, or DFS. Every student's DFS is averaged to calculate an overall DFS for each student group. The ELA DFS for Desert Sands is 39.2 DFS points below standard, maintaining an orange performance color. As a comparison, students across the state scored 13.2 points below standard, also in an orange performance color. This 5x5 slide shows English language arts placement for Desert Sands in all our student groups. A student group must have at least 30 students to be included on a placement report, which is why you do not see placement for our Pacific Islander and American Indian student groups. Regardless of the indicator, all 5x5s can be read the same way, with the most desirable statuses being at the top and the right-hand columns indicating levels of improvement. Many of our student groups are scoring above standard on average, which is to be celebrated. However, several student groups have a very low status, including our English learners, long-term English learners, foster youth, homeless youth, African American students, and students with disabilities. It is worth noting that this dashboard, for the first time, includes long-term English learners. These students are English learners who have been in the program for 7 or more years. It is important to understand that the English learners subgroup consists of both ELs who have been in the program for less than 6 years and ELs that have been in for 7 or more. So the EL student group is a wider set, and the long-term English learners are just narrowing down to just those who have been there for that longer period of time. This graph shows English language arts performance ordered by DFS across all Riverside County unified school districts. Desert Sands ranks 9th. Note that the performance level color for each district is represented on the bars in the graph. A gray color indicates the district in question received a status but no color for this year. The math DFS for Desert Sands is 79.7 DFS points below standard, maintaining an orange performance level color. As a comparison, students across the state scored 47.6 points below standard, also maintaining an orange performance level. This 5x5 shows the math place of Desert Sands in all of our student groups. A few of our student groups are scoring above standard on average, which is a highlight. However, 4 student groups are in the red, including English learners, LTELs, African American students, and students with disabilities. Desert Sands ranks 9th in mathematics within unified school districts in Riverside County. The next state indicator, the English Language Learner Progress Indicator, is another measure of LCFF Priority Area 4. This indicator is unique as it only includes English learner students. Beginning this year, the LP reports a second data point for LTELs. The LP is calculated based on an individual student's growth from 1 year to the next, from 2023 to 2024, on the English Language Proficiency Assessments, or LPAC. And that assessment is based on the California English Language Development Standards. A student is making progress towards English language development proficiency when they move up 1 or more LP levels from 1 year to the next, or maintain the highest level. 45.3% of Desert Sands English learners show growth or remain at the highest level, which is very similar to the state's rate of 45.7%. DSUSD is currently at an orange performance level. LTELs, however, are green. Our LP rate ranks 5th in the county among unified school districts. Last year, we were 9th. The college and career indicator is defined by students graduating in 4 or 5 years and meeting one or more of the multiple college and career readiness measures. These include, but are not limited to, CTE pathways, A through G completion, AP and IP exam results, 11th grade CAF scores, and completion of college courses. Mr. Bebo will be presenting a more detailed look at those measures in an upcoming board meeting. This is the first year in some time that color has been used for this indicator. This was due to the interruptions in state testing of juniors in 2020 and 2021. Now that's back, we now have the color, and we see that 48.7% of our students are considered prepared for college, having met at least one measure. By comparison, 45.3% of students are prepared at the state level. Our district is green for this measure. Here on the 5x5, we can see that a few of our student groups are reaching high or very high rates of preparation, which is a highlight. Currently, no student groups are red for this indicator. I would also note that in order to be included on this chart, a student group needs to have had 30 graduates last year. As a result, some of the smaller student groups are not shown as African American and Native American students. Desert Sands ranks 5th among Unified School District in Riverside County. Last year, we were 6th. Our next set of indicators for student engagement are aligned with Priority Area 5 and include graduation rate for high school and chronic absenteeism for grades K through 8. Graduation rate is defined as a percentage of students earning a regular high school diploma in 4 or 5 years. Students that earn a certificate of completion, adult education diploma, GED, or pass an equivalency exam are not considered graduates on this indicator. Desert Sands has a high graduation rate of 92.7% and a yellow performance indicator color. California students are graduating at a rate of 86.7%, also with a yellow performance indicator color. Most of our student groups are reaching high or very high graduation rates, which is a highlight. Currently, no student groups are red for this indicator. As with the college and career indicator, some student groups are omitted. To be included here, we must have 30 or more students in last year's graduating class. We currently rank 10th among Riverside County Unified School Districts. The next state indicator on the California dashboard is chronic absenteeism rate. This is a measure of Priority Area 5. A student is chronically absent if they miss, for any reason, 10 or more % of the instructional days. That would be 18 out of a full 180-day school year. This indicator is reverse compared to what we have seen so far. For this indicator, we want to see low numbers and a decrease from year over year. Although there have been significant declines in chronic absenteeism rates, we continue to see a trend of high rates across the state. 29.2% of Desert Sands students were chronically absent last school year, compared to 18.6% across the state. Many student groups continue to have a very high chronic absenteeism rate that is over 20.1%. What is notable is that most of our student groups have chronic absenteeism rates which have declined significantly compared to the previous year. Currently, we rank 13th in chronic absenteeism. School climate is aligned with Priority Area 6 and the suspension rate indicator. Suspension rate is defined by the percentage of students in grades TK through 12 that have 1 or more days of suspension. This indicator is also reversed. So again, we want to see low numbers and a decrease year over year. Last year, 3.8% of our students were suspended, while 3.2% of state students were suspended by comparison. This 5x5 shows that our African American students, Native American students, homeless youth, long-term English learners, students with disabilities, and Hispanic students are being suspended at higher rates than other student groups. Currently, we rank 11th in the county. This year, the dashboard includes a new section titled Informational Purposes. This section currently only reports on science achievement. This section does not yet contain any status or color information. The State Board of Education is currently considering what the addition of color may look like in the future. The science indicator is calculated based on student achievement on the 2024 CAST and the 2024 California Alternate Assessment for Science. They include results from students in grades 5, 8, and ones in high school. The high school administration is primarily 11th graders. Like with ELA and math, the science indicator measures how many scale score points each student is from meeting standard to create a distance from standard, or DFS. Every student's DFS is averaged to calculate an overall DFS for each student group. Our students are currently 16.8 points below standard compared to 13.5 points below standard for the state. Within our county, we currently rank 6th. The results from the California School Dashboard are also used to determine a school's eligibility for differentiated assistance, which is part of California's system of support. A district is eligible if one or more student groups meets 2 of the criteria listed, and specific actions must be taken in our LCAP to address those student group needs. The process is a 2-year process, which can be something of a misnomer. When a student group is identified, that is considered the first year, and we restart whenever an identification occurs. As a result, we can continue to be in year 1 for several years in a row. We move to year 2 only when we no longer meet the identification criteria, and we exit only when we have spent that second year and then continue to not meet criteria. So while official notifications haven't been made, our COE has indicated that we're unlikely to be identified for differentiated assistance for any student groups. We will therefore move on to year 2 for the 3 student groups who have been previously identified. When the 2025 dashboard comes out in about a year, we may potentially exit differentiated assistance at that time. I would also like to take a moment to share the state just published the federal accountability statuses for the coming year. The results are very good news. And all of our schools that were in ATSI have exited. Our one school, which was in CSI, exited that level, which was the most intensive level of accountability, and is now in TSI, the lowest level of accountability. We will be sending you the details with a little more explanation in an upcoming Friday letter. But overall, this is cause for celebration and represents one of the best outcomes within our county. As a reminder, Senate Bill 114 changed the California dashboard reporting timelines to make the data available earlier to better assist schools and districts to take timely action. This year, the dashboard was released ahead of the statutory deadline due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Next year's CD will continue to move up the release until it comes out annually on October 15th, starting in 2026. Thank you for your time this evening, and it's been a pleasure to see you all again.
Trish.
Yes, I can see our standing within the 18 Riverside County districts about in the middle for English language arts and math. And I'm just concerned about our distance from the overall California numbers, especially for math, the 79% below standard. Also, I was impressed with the growth for the ELLs. I think more focus has also been put in there, and those numbers are improving. Overall, I just see that we need to keep working hard on the English language arts and math focuses that we're doing and the interventions that we're trying to make with the students. But thank you for your report.
You're welcome.
I don't have anything. I appreciate your report. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
A couple of things. I wish we had had more information on school side. This is very broad. It was, not specific enough, I guess is the word. Can you provide us, on a Friday letter, just the information on school sites? That's what That's what I'm interested in. I want to see where we're at with those individual school sites now that the dashboard has been published. Also, which schools are receiving differentiated supports? And if you don't have that available right now, maybe we can get that on a Friday letter as well.
With respect to which schools exited accountability and which schools are still...
No, not which exited, just which ones are going to be receiving supports.
Yes, that information is scheduled for an upcoming Friday letter already.
Okay.
Got that for you.
And please identify what supports they are receiving that are differentiated than the rest of the school sites. And also just, I I guess just to echo Trish's comments about just, I know that school sites are working diligently towards academic achievement, and maybe it's just, and I know that it is a board priority that we identified that. So having said that, we do appreciate everyone's efforts. I mean, we do note that there are some things that we are looking to shore up, and we appreciate everyone's collective efforts and working towards that. So thank you for your presentation.
Absolutely. We'll get that for you in a Friday letter.
I'd just like to comment on the chronic absenteeism, because I think it's the linchpin that I think kind of makes everything else improve possible. So my question is, when I see like 29.2% chronically absent, and it says declined by 5.7%, okay, I'm trying to get, so was it 34% and it dropped down to 29?
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing?
That would be correct.
Or, because sometimes, I hear it backwards.
Yeah, with this indicator, we want the number to get smaller, so it went down by about 5%. So we had that level of improvement.
So
yes.
that's a good thing. But then, when you compare it to the state, I kind of go like, gosh, I look at that, that, let's say it's roughly about 10% difference, 10%, what is that? That'd be chronically 10 days each, right? So you're talking, that's a lot of kids. 10% of our kids would be 25,000, right? So 2,500, 10 days, it's a lot of coins. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is, as I stated to somebody, I think maybe even here the other day, and after 31-year career, right? It's gum, it's absenteeism, certain things again, and how do we get on top of this? I'm not asking for an answer right now, of course, but I'm just trying to think about it, because I'd like us to be closer to the state numbers. That's what I want people to think. How do we get them to come here? I don't know. I'm on that crew too, and we're here to support it. And I hear the same thing over there. Trust me, it's bad. It's bad. And is it a sign of the times? Is it a sign of technology? Is it a sign of all the above? We can't get math up, to echo my colleagues' concerns.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Students got to be in it to win it.
Right. There you go. Yeah, I agree with you. So I appreciate that. No, and I just wanted to bring that out publicly. That's a gap I'd like us to all work together to try.
And I will say, we totally agree with you on all the comments that have been made. I will say that 5% wasn't a fluke. That was very specific efforts made that paid off. And so we'll be repeating those efforts again this year and increasing those efforts, because we agree that number has to come way up. But that was done with some very targeted efforts. So we're happy to see that declined.
As Mr. Alvarez stated, it's that old, like, could we see something like for grade level with school? Like, where is it? Who's coming to school? Who's coming to school?
We can get you some kind of a breakdown by grade level of attendance. That wouldn't be a problem.
I just like this. I know I would like to see like this, because I want to go and I want to pinpoint that and put my finger into the leak or wherever it's coming. Try to stop.
Absolutely, get that for you in a Friday letter.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Great report, though. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And your staff.
I have the same sentiments about everything. I think Ms. Pierce hit exactly what I was going to say, and my concern is math and science. And I know that this is something that we all discussed at that one of the governing meetings that we had, and I brought up, I know reading is a portion of math, but we have to invest in it. And the things that we have with our board goals and priorities, I think we've seen the benefit of the investment. And so focusing, and no judgment in your presentation, I think you did great, but putting focus in not just reading, but a true focus and emphasis on math and science. That's the only way that we're going to see the numbers increase. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Good evening.
Mr. Aquino.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent, Cabinet. Tonight we're going to go over the first interim budget. It's the first update to the budget that reflects actuals all the way to October, and then projections from there on out. So I'm just going to start off by showing the general fund right off the bat. And when I put this slide together, I thought to myself today, there's a lot of districts that are presenting their first interims as well. And I just kind of wanted to know from a sample, where do we stand in relation to a lot of our neighboring districts? And so I pulled 9 other districts, mostly from Riverside County, with an average ADA of 23,000. And just so you know, there was a little bit of a skew, a smaller district, Beaumont, and then a larger district of Corona Norco. So that kind of is what came up with this average. And the fund balance average across all those 9 districts was 17.4%. Ours is 37.1%. And we'll get into that a little bit further in the presentation. One thing I didn't explain here for anyone who's unfamiliar with what they're looking at, the unrestricted side is more of the operational. The whole general fund is the operations budget. The unrestricted side is a lot more discretion. And on the restricted side of the budget are things like categorical programs. Yes?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Just for my own processing, I want you to repeat that. I want to make sure that I understand what you're saying as far as the 17% being the average and ours was 30-something.
Yeah, so the average that I just pulled on...
Average what?
The average of our unrestricted ending fund balance.
Okay, how much money we have left over?
Yeah, in relation to the total general fund expenditures. That's how the state takes a look at that.
Okay.
And they typically do every year around the March timeframe, give us an update on what, and we'll go into that too here in a later slide. Thank you for that clarification.
And ours was 30, what'd you say, 37?
37.1%.
Okay, thank you.
Now, what? The average on the, and again, I took a sample, it's my own sampling, primarily Riverside school districts. The average is 17.4%. Okay. Here's a look at our multi-year projection. And the important thing to note here is that we are deficit spending. I think we've talked about in many presentations, at some point, we're going to get to a position where we're going to need to, our fund balance can't continue to grow. It has to be spent down at some point. And so what you see here is a combination of COLA, a combination of spending more than we're getting. One thing to note is we are looking at addressing that fund balance, that ongoing deficit on a year-to-year basis. We had meetings even just within this current year with a goal of reducing $800,000 this year and then another $800,000 next year. And that is primarily due to declining revenues as a result of declining students and our local control funding formula. So here's just a quick summary. Just to reiterate, our fund balance is 37.1%. In 2022-23, this is the official reporting for the average unrestricted ending fund balance reserve for a unified school district in the state of California. That average then in 22-23 was 23.74%. At that same time, our ending fund balance reserve was 37.9%. So just to give you a comparison as where we fall in relation to other districts. We are showing deficit spending in the current and subsequent, meaning the multi-years. One thing also to note is we are in the process of collective bargaining with both units. We've completed financial settlement with CSEA, and that is reflected in this budget, only the CSEA financial settlement. So if there's anything that happens here on out, that will have to be added as an expenditure to this budget. Also, the COLA in this budget reflects the original projections from the Department of Finance. That Department of Finance works with the governor's office. They haven't updated their COLA projections. They're going to do that come in their January budget proposal. But we don't come up with our own COLAs. We use whatever the Department of Finance has at the time. And so we do have the old COLA in our budget projections as a disclaimer. We are showing also declining enrollment of negative 1.13% in 25-26 and negative 2.1% in the following year. Yes?
Okay, so budgets are obviously very critical right now. So I want to make sure I'm following along, so I'm going to be asking some questions. So we have 37.1, for example, percent left over from our budget, but we're deficit spending.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
That's correct.
So that deficit spending is coming from our reserves.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
That deficit spending will continue to dip into whatever reserves we have in the fund balance, the reserves.
Yeah. I'm just, side note, still processing how we're having 30% left over. So we're not using 37% of our budget.
I'm going to get into that.
Okay.
So here's the kicker. We took a look at 2018-19 pre-pandemic and compared that to how many positions do we have post-pandemic, 24-25 school year. There's approximately 290 FTEs, of which 240 of those FTEs are reflected on this slide. And you can see the size of the bubble shows the amount of staff, that have grown since the 2018-19 timeframe. Paraeducators, custodians, security agents, all these things that should resonate with you because there are actions that we have taken during COVID, hiring custodians to address the pandemic, transitional kindergartners, which used to be reading specialists, and we carried them over to make sure that we could maintain the positions. But there's a lot of positions that we have added since the pandemic, and a lot of them are listed here for you. Now here's our fund balance. When I look at the fund balance slide, the fact that it's growing means that our revenues that we've been receiving have been more than we have been spending. But also in that time frame, that little black bar was $144 million of COVID relief money, ESSER, Learning Loss Mitigation, Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant. These funds that had to be spent. Now, one thing that we all know is that we are a service industry and we don't buy $144 million worth of computers. We spend those things on people that help our students in a variety of ways. And our budget, the unrestricted general fund side of the budget, 90% of that is made up of people. So if I were to cut or take a look at that 144 million and just apply a general theme to what the total budget spends on personnel of 75%, that's about $108 million of that can be attributed to personnel. And if you use that general logic, how can you hire that many staff members and maintain those positions beyond the COVID era? It's impossible if you don't have a succession plan for that. And that is primarily why the fund balance has been growing, because we have been starting since day one multi-year planning to make sure that all those positions that we went over on slide 5 can be maintained beyond the COVID one-time funding era. So here's a look at our declining enrollment. We've been in continual decline. Let me see here. So our declining enrollment, this is a 9-year look. We have declined 13.4%, or about 3,534 students. So you could see that this is an ongoing trend. One thing to note is within the past decade, California schools have declined 4% in general in their enrollment. Primarily, there's an outward migration, people moving out of the state, but a lot of it is driven from birth rates, right? The birth rates have dropped from 2007 to 2022, approximately 31%. So less people are having babies, which is primarily why a lot of our incoming and outgoing seniors are a lot more than our incoming kindergartners.
And
that
Jordan, those numbers don't include the charter schools, correct?
These ones, I believe, do include the charter
The ones
schools.
you just showed?
Yeah, I'd have to double check that. They don't.
They don't. There's no.
So, again, what we said we were projecting of a negative 1.13 and a negative 2.1%. That is also reflected in our multi-year projections. You've heard, we're experiencing an enrollment bubble, right? An enrollment bubble depicts that ultimately enrollment at some point is going to level out because it's either going on this large dip and then it's going to. There's no enrollment bubble anymore. This is continued decline. And I think the birth rates, fertility rates show to 2050 don't show an increase either. And so I'm not sure where our new normal is going to be, but we're going to continue to project a declining enrollment because that's what we're facing. Here's a look at our COLA. One kind of important note here is the out-year COLAs again, like we were talking, 2.93%, 3.08. Those are based on the original Department of Finance projections. And here are just the change in dollar amounts, just so you could see it on a graphical perspective and not in some financial chart. So our next year COLA scenarios, and this is the local control funding formula estimates. We are currently using, again, the Department of Finance's numbers, which is $339 million in our first interim. This is for the 25-26 school year. The Legislative Analyst's Office just recently put out their projections of COLA, and they have a better picture now because their estimates include, I believe, quarters 2 and 3 of the gross domestic product for government expenditures. And their projections for COLA have dropped to 2.46%. We as a collective body, all school districts, are still waiting on quarter 4 for 2024 and quarters 1 for 2025. That's when we will know what the real COLA is going to be come May, the May revision. In January, the governor is going to put out some estimate. We're not sure what that's going to be. Some of my fellow colleagues that work for FCMAT and School Services of California are giving informal estimates. And I'm not going to disclose exactly what that percentage is, but if I apply that percentage, their projections to this, they're looking at a $335 million. The impact would be $335 million to us. What does that mean? That means if the Department of Finance's projections of 3 point whatever it is come to fruition, because if you couple that with our declining enrollment, we're going to get $1 million next year. If the Legislative Analyst's Office projections are correct, we are going to lose $471,000 next year. If these preliminary estimates from School Services and FCMAT potentially come true, then we're looking at almost $3 million of a loss next year. And that is with a lower COLA. That's the ironic part, is a COLA is supposed to give you more money. But the problem with it is our decline is eating away at the money that we're supposed to be over and above what we got from the previous year. Here are just the budget variables that we're using. Again, 25, 26, 26, 27, those are larger COLAs. We have declining enrollment forecasted. Our attendance has gotten better from previous budgets at 91.35%, which we've carried forward. We have our unduplicated pupil count, so the number of students that we are servicing with identified needs. Also in the budget is a step and column, right? So our salary schedules have inherent increases built into them called step and column, and that ranges anywhere from 0.9 to 1.7%. PERS is going up, so that's the pension increase that you hear about pretty frequently. And we also include a utility inflation. What is that? cost of electricity goes up. All the normal things that you pay at your house, we also experience the same increases at the school district. Now, what is our budget challenge? You saw this slide. The budget challenge is what we have to do to afford our ongoing normal expenses on a year-to-year basis. So if we're getting more money or less money from the state, there is one thing that is for certain, is that we are going to have step and column, which is a cost, an inherent cost that happens every year in our budget. And if you add up that 0.9 to 1.7% increase to all of our employees and the pension increase, which we know is going to also happen, that total cost is $5.1 million next year. That is also built into the budget. At some point, we are going to have to address the deficit spending, and we mentioned earlier, we're doing it in small chunks, right? At some point, there's going to be no small chunks. We might have to start doing things a little bit more purposeful and intentful so we don't get into situations that put us in a very dire predicament. That's it.
I was gonna say, could we just popcorn, and if you have a question, just say it, I guess, I don't know, instead of.
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful report. I'm sad to see that declining enrollment is a thing in our nation, the birth rate, all of that does affect our funding. But I'm grateful for our multi-year planning that you've done, especially handling the one-time funding things and building those positions in so that we could keep our people. Knowing that our staff is most of our expenses, it's hard to cut back in areas, but when I think what you were doing this year, like cutting a small amount back from every department and trying to figure out ways to save without impacting personnel is a good thing. I just feel, how do you say, afraid of what the future holds for our education situation, and the budget and all the things that we have to think about in order to educate the kids and make everything work. So, but thank you for always giving us clear information, and we'll hang on and watch for the budget coming out in January and what COLA does for small numbers. Thanks.
I don't have any questions, but I appreciate all that you do and your staff do. Jordan, you do an excellent job. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to just reiterate, Sonia Melendez is in the office. A big thing with budget is position control, and she does an excellent job with that. That controls pretty much a majority of the budget because it's based on people, and so it's very important to monitor that, and she does an excellent job.
I understand it takes a system in place to ensure that component which you just mentioned and much more. So thank you to the whole team that monitors that and is on top of that to ensure that we're fiscally solvent. A couple of the points that stood out to me is that our declining enrollment is going to be eating up those funds that we may be getting, which is further exacerbated by the fact that we have a high chronic absentee rate. So definitely a great time to, one, solicit support in which we already see the benefits of the decline in chronic absenteeism, but ensuring that we get that message out. It's critical that students are in school because that's how we're funded. So maybe even considering starting some type of, not only doing what we're doing that's really improving it, right, but looking at maybe even some type of incentives or whatever it is to our school sites who have firsthand contact with our families, especially in K-1, where we have higher chronic absentee rates, to really push the fact that it is in these challenging times that we need to ensure students are at school because that's how schools are funded. But at the same time, there is a lot of gratitude in my heart, knowing that we're fiscally in the right direction, and ultimately it means that we're also saving positions and jobs and not affecting families. So thank you for the efforts, and appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say kudos to your whole team and do your wonderful job on the report. I like to say the news could always be a lot worse, right? ADA, and I did list, I put here absences, of course. I view that as like a, as a gold nugget we need to just mine, I think, and get that money. And I don't know how we message that, but if we do, that's just like kind of finding, money in the couch cushions kind of thing. So if we could do that, that'd be cool. And then I'd like to know about the ADA. I'm not right now, and off the top of your head if you have, but I mean, I know that there's the average daily attendance amount that we get per student per day. So I don't know if in a Friday report, if we could have that. And I know back in the day, you said I used to like a number that we used to get, an amount per student annually, because I think a lot of people don't realize, and we see it, and I don't know if I've seen it recently, but we are funded differently versus our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, pupil for pupil, we do not get the same amount of money as our other neighbors do. But I'd like to see a comparison of that. Usually it was one that would compare the east, the west, and maybe just like you did earlier, a couple of randoms, So, and I think it's really instrumental in educating the populace too, to the fact that whatever that number is, we're getting X per student a year, and some people are getting X plus 5% or X plus 8%. Because I remember those numbers were much, much different. And so it also shows, and it's a kudo to you, your staff, and the fine cabinet that we have, that we not only do it, but we do it with less funding per child. So I think that's also a message that's important, that not only we share and know, but also to our community knows, because it goes to the excellence and the job that Jordan, Mr. Kino, you and your team do. So I'd like to have those numbers if at all possible, and of course the ADA, so that when we pinpoint these places, I'm personally going to go there, that neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious, because that's money, and that's money we're desperately going to need, folks. And I think everybody here that's here, whatever your interest is, whatever you choose to, they say you fund what you value, but we gotta go where the funds are, and those funds are sitting in homes sometimes when they should be sitting in our classrooms. Thank you so much to your team, and thank you for all that you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Kino.
Thank you.
All right, public hearing. Public hearing number 07/2024-2025, elementary art textbook adoption, opening public comments at 8:28 p.m.
Hi, good evening, Cabinet and Board. I'm Trina Gonzalez-Alisi. I'm the DSTA President, and I always take the opportunity to commend our curriculum councils for having a thorough and efficient process for selecting our curriculum, and just wanted to take an opportunity to do that again. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to make a comment? Closing public comments at 8:29 p.m. Now, in an interesting order, we will do board and superintendent comments. Ms. Pierce, do you have any comments?
A few. Over this past month, I attended the ribbon cutting for the Indio Police Department Safety Complex. It was so exciting to see. It's right next to Roosevelt Elementary, right at the corner of Jackson and Dr. Carrion. Just an amazing facility that will also enable more community engagement with the police and fire safety, and those two entities closer together and working together. So there was a celebration with both of them. Also, we had our first or second board governance meeting where we have a special open meeting that anybody could come to, and we go over different progressions in our goals and visions and missions for the district. This is a side note because I'm involved with the Find Food Bank board, And we had a wonderful tour. I don't know if any of you noticed, it's way back off Golf Center Drive, but a brand new building we have built there that's going to enable us to handle much more food and be the central food bank for the valley. And I mention it only because our families, all the valley families, and the high desert, Joshua Tree everywhere, even down to Imperial and out to Blythe, our area that we serve as a food bank encompasses all those areas. And just to know that we were able to do that with the funding support of the community, and that will really help in serving the families that need it, and use many of our facility sites to distribute the food. I also attended our COE, Riverside County Student of the Month. Those are held every few months and highlight all the 3 districts, high schoolers that are doing well. All of us attended the California School Board Association conference in Anaheim. It was an excellent conference with wonderful speakers and sessions that we could attend over the 3 days, and that happens once a year. Also attended the city of La Quinta. Actually, they came to our board conference room for a 2x2 meeting where they update things that will affect our students and schools and what's going on in the city with the city planner and managers and mayor. And we also tell about things that we think they could help us with in order to make our schools and students safe. And lastly, last Friday, I was excited to attend, second or third time I've gone, the Palm Desert High School performance. Their dance academy, career academy is amazing. And this fall dance performance is called In Process, because these same students will do further work to choreograph and perform in the spring. So if you get a chance to go to that, it's just so professional. You feel like you were at one of the professional dance students. The visiting dance instructors they have and the pride of the dancers is really amazing. That was my month. Thank you.
Well, I'm not going to say everything that Trish said, but everything, the CSBA, to the Delegate Assembly and CSBA. And anyway, I just want to wish everybody happy holidays. We really do appreciate all that you do daily with our children, that to make them feel safe and heard and seen. And just take this time to be with your families and enjoy that time off. Just remember, too, that there are people out there that this is a difficult time. You know, it's holiday time, but it's hard for some that have had loss or just difficult. So anyway, just reach out to somebody, just tell them you love them and that you're thinking about them. So anyway, we feel blessed. I feel blessed to be on this board, and this cabinet is amazing. And anyway, I love all you guys, and have a wonderful holiday.
Some of the same sentiments as my colleagues before. I know these are very times where we're so busy, especially at the school sites. There are many activities going on, performances day in and day out. So enjoy the voices, the talents, the creativity of our students and staff out there at the school sites. I just want to say thank you for those putting it together. There's a lot of work that goes into these performances. Time, dedication. It is on top of the academic rigor that the students are still accountable for and our staff is accountable for. So I really appreciate making time for the arts and seeing that is valued. Definitely a time to re-energize the next couple of weeks. I, for one, am looking forward to Friday. But I just want to let you guys know that this is certainly a time for you to take some time for you as well. Enjoy. Find something that you'd love to do. Do it. Whatever it may be, enjoy yourselves and re-energize. And, the New Year's going to be here very quickly, so we have to get ready for that as well. But just enjoy. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and a blessing to you all.
How do you follow up these great folks, right? Well, change languages. No. Feliz Navidad, Prospero Año. You know, I just thought about that before I started, when I was thinking what I'd say, and you know, when you hear another language, a lot of times you hear what you believe you heard, but sometimes you don't really listen and hear the words. It's like, it's not Happy New Year, right? Think about it. It's Prospero and Prosperous New Year, right? I mean, so think of that difference. I mean, versus, and that's kind of where I think we're at. And we went to this training at the CSBA, and I have pictures here. And I took it. It's I'm a terrible note taker, so take photos. But it says, become wealthy in time, not money. These are some of the top insights that they found when they surveyed some students at Yale University. There was a really good speaker that she spoke there, that she had a class and had to deal with basically, you know, helping you as people because of the mental health issues that we have today. And I see the audience today, and I recognize and I speak to you, and I appreciate you. And we're in a place where I don't think we've ever been before, where we need more services and where we have to focus more, as it says here, like loving our jobs and focusing on our strengths and taking care of one of each other, or taking care of each other. Give, you know, it says here, and these are not my words, all right? These are, I'm stealing from a slideshow here. It says, give yourself the gift of self-compassion, you know? Another insight, number 7, be in the present moment, even if it feels, you know, not so good. Number 6, be in the present moment and savor the good things, you know? Healthy practices matter more than we expect. Make time for gratitude every day. Helping others makes us happier than we expect. That's the joy I know I find in my job, and I know that's the joy that educators find in theirs, and even our health professionals too. Because health isn't just, it's not mental and it's not physical anymore, right? It's just, it's health. It is. And so, you know, happiness matters for your performance. And no one, I tell you straight up, no one, I think, it means so much. I want everybody happy. I want their performances to be top-notch, but I want everybody to be well, and I want everybody to go home and enjoy what they do and love where they're at and feel a part of a team, because I know that I perform better when that happens. And so it's important for me. So that what I'm sharing here today is that we went to the CSBA, and we all sat to this thing, and I know I was touched by it tremendously. And I remembered once when I was in business school years and years ago, you know, when all we had was pencil and paper and there was nothing to put, you know, digit. And they used to say that you could get, I was in the entrepreneur program, and they said you could get more out of people if you just showed your appreciation to them a little bit. And I want to let everybody know, who's ever listening, who's ever seen, who's ever hearing, that that's a belief system I know that I feel, I know I can say most assuredly, and I believe wholeheartendly that we all feel that way. So let's take this time to just reach out to each one another. And I know that the staff here is I mean, my supportive colleagues here are all on this board. So again, Feliz Navidad, Prospero Año, y felicidad. Que te va bien. Thank you.
I'm not even going to try and compete with that, so I have nothing. I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Mae Volmar.
Just 2 things really quickly. One is I want to just echo what everyone's already said about everyone having a lovely holiday season. Our staff, no matter what your role is, pours out their energy, their heart, their care every single day to all of our students. And you are so deeply appreciated, every one of you, for what you do. So I hope that all of our staff out there takes time to rest and recuperate and fill your bucket up, because we will come back, as Mr. Alvarez mentioned, in January. But really take that special time and know that you're so deeply cared about and appreciated every day for what you do. And then I also just want to, we did go to the California School Boards Association conference, as many as the trustees alluded to. And while we were there, Desert Sands received a Golden Bell Award, which is a very prestigious accomplishment. And Mike Kent and Lizzie Hartman are sitting in the audience, and I want to give a shout out to them. The award, yes. The award is for our MTSS program, which is a beautiful collaboration between Student Support Services and Educational Services and all of the employees that work in those divisions. But Mike, in his previous role, and Lizzie now, have a special position of oversight of that program and works so well with all the staff members in both divisions that work so diligently to meet the social emotional and the academic needs of our students. And so we were happy to receive that Golden Bell Award, but we really know that it's for the work that you've done. So I just want to extend my deepest thanks and congratulations to all of you that work on our MTSS services.
Public comments on open session items. Communications from the floor in accordance with the bylaws of the board, number 9323. Time is reserved for oral communications by members of the Board of Education or by citizens. Citizens wishing to be heard on agenda items, regular or special meetings, and or non-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board, regular meetings only, shall have a 3-minute limit. A total of 20 minutes will be reserved for public comment on each item. The board president, with concurrence of the board, may extend this time if deemed appropriate due to the number of citizens who wish to speak on an item. In accordance with the law, the board cannot take action on any item that is not appearing on the agenda, as indicated in the bylaws of the board, number 9232.2. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda, regular or special meeting, or non-agenda regular meeting. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Please be advised that there is a possibility that some items discussed during public comment will not be developmentally appropriate for minors. We ask that parents use discretion when choosing to remain in the boardroom during public comment. If you choose to leave the room, you may wait in the overflow location at the end of the hallway, and you will be notified when public comments have concluded. There are some online public comments. This one is from Gabriel Rocha. I'm writing with the experiences of a teacher in a medical frailty program for students with severe health and medical needs. As I've heard the saying, after a great accomplishment has been completed, like the Dodgers World Series championship in 2024 and the MVP of the team speaks, I couldn't have done this alone. I'm part of a supportive team, and our accomplishments are to be celebrated together. That is how I feel about our nursing team. Our nursing team truly saves the lives of our students every day in our program, from providing the oxygen to our students who are having respiratory issues, to administering the medication when our students are having seizures. There are several duties that our nursing team performs that I haven't expressed that are essential to making a successful program shine. I have the honor to work along the side of, pardon me if I butcher these names, Annette Pashia, Francesca Leone, and Serena Canchola. Without the support and integrity of these colleagues' performances at work, our program would not be successful. Our nursing team should be treated and supported with the admiration they are asking for. Will you make the choice to mirror their daily duties and take care of them? Next. Renee Ruiz. To whom it may concern, I'm writing this letter in support of our school LVNs. The roles of our licensed vocational nurses have increasingly become a critical factor in ensuring student safety and well-being. As the office technician at Johnson Elementary School, I have witnessed firsthand the invaluable contributions of our LVNs. She provides essential medical care twice a week. While we are fortunate to have access to her and her expertise, the limited availability raises significant concerns regarding adequate coverage and responses to the needs of our student population. Our health office is frequently inundated with students requesting care. It becomes clear that LVNs play a vital role in addressing the increasing healthcare needs of our students. In an educational setting, LVNs can spring into action during emergencies, allowing for swift intervention. In conclusion, the need for LVN coverage is evident not only for the safety of our students, but also for the efficient operations of our health services. Thank you for your time. Next. This is from Stephen Hernandez. As a parent with 3 students enrolled within the Desert Sands School District, I feel strongly about the critical need for a licensed vocational nurse at every school site. Currently, their staffing model relies on office personnel who are not trained to handle medical emergencies or administer medication, which leaves our schools and the well-being of our children vulnerable. Many campuses are understaffed, and because the nurses must travel between sites, there are times when no healthcare provider is available. This situation not only jeopardizes the safety and well-being of our students, but also places an undue burden on office staff. Additionally, district nurses often deal with the mental and emotional toll of responding to tragic events, further emphasizing the need for additional support. Furthermore, our nurses are very underpaid for the vast responsibilities they carry as healthcare professionals and deserve better compensation for the tremendous responsibilities they take on when dealing with such a fragile and vulnerable patient age group. It is essential that we ensure proper medical support at all times by providing each school with a dedicated LVN who are trained, equipped, and available to respond to emergencies, support the health needs of our students, and mitigate the emotional and mental health impacts that come with these high-stress situations. Next. This is from Diane Powell. I have had an LVN nurse in my classroom for 2 years now due to students who require medical care during school hours. These students would not be able to attend school if these valuable and dedicated people were not available to care for their medical needs. I see a nursing shortage across the district, and our nursing staff is doing their best to service each student with a smile and dignity. Not only do our nurses deserve to have a competitive salary, but the district needs to hire more nurses so that they have a reasonable caseload. Ideally, we should have one LVN on each campus or shared by 2 campuses. Then all medical emergencies can get the attention they deserve. Many times we are all supporting each other to do the best that we can with the qualifications that we have, and sometimes that is not enough. Please support our nursing staff. Next. This is from Vanessa Gonzalez. Nurses are absolutely essential. Teachers and paras are able to deal with small injuries, but nurses are needed for high medical emergencies. I can't even begin to count how many times our nurses have been useful to us this month alone. This is when our students are getting sick, and the nurses are the ones who determine if they get sent home. There are also many students who are diabetics, have seizures, or have other medical needs that teachers and paras are not equipped to handle. Only nurses can handle these things. Without them, our students are not as safe. For the safety of our children and peace of mind of parents, we need nurses. Next. Ashley Cavazos. I support for nurses to be reclassified because for all that they do. Seeing how our nurses are pulled in every direction for coverage. If one is out, another comes in to cover, and there are some that jump from school to help cover. They care for our students and give them the utmost care. They take their job very seriously, and you can see it's not just their students they're here for, they acknowledge all students. Next. Melissa Martinez. As a paraeducator, I've relied on nurses to assist me with medical concerns for my students. Their advice and opinion has a lot of value to parents and teachers. Having feedback immediately has helped me and others in moving forward with addressing student needs. They play a critical role in the health and well-being of students. Next. And Gabriel Sandez. I support LVNs being reclassified due to them having to work with challenging behaviors with students during medical procedures in classrooms and school health offices. They also have to be prepared to work with those behaviors district-wide from school to school, which is another reason I believe they should move up in classification. Next. And now for in-person comments. Brenda Hawley. Lorraine Jasso.
Good evening, esteemed members of the Desert Sands Unified School District Board of Education. My name is Lorraine Hasso, and I'm a licensed vocational nurse. As you all have heard, LVNs are the heartbeat of the health office and classrooms. Unfortunately, we cannot be everywhere at once and are constantly pulled in multiple directions. The departure of one of our previous LVNs had significantly increased our workload this year, making it extremely challenging to provide the level of care our students deserve. Just today, my middle school with more than 950 students had urgently requested me while I was at another school to assist a student with a history of epilepsy who is experiencing potential seizure activity. Although office staff and teachers are trained to administer emergency medication, the presence of a nurse provides invaluable reassurance and support during such critical situations. Fortunately, I was only 15 minutes away and the student did not require immediate medical intervention. However, this incident highlights the critical role we play in ensuring student safety. All of our LVNs are deeply dedicated to helping others. However, it is impossible to effectively serve multiple schools per day. Currently, I am assigned to assist at 4 schools with a combined student population of more than 3,000 students, while simultaneously performing medical procedures, documenting them in multiple areas, administering medication, processing new medication orders, and addressing other urgent healthcare concerns. This demanding schedule leaves little time for breaks, lunch, or even a reasonable commute allowance between schools. Consequently, we often find ourselves drowning in unfinished work, impacting our ability to successfully complete our day. As discussed in the previous meeting, the LVNs are requesting an increase in our hours from 7 to 8 without additional duties, an additional 10 days prior to the beginning or the end of the school year to efficiently open and close health offices, and an increase in our pay scale from step 80 to 85. These adjustments are essential to ensure that we can effectively meet the increasing healthcare needs of our students across all 30-plus schools within the district. We urge you to consider this immense responsibility and challenging workload we face daily. By supporting these requests, the district can demonstrate its commitment to the health and well-being of our students and ensure that they receive the highest quality of care. I thank you for all of your time and consideration of our requests.
Shannon Rudisil.
Good evening, I'm Shannon Rudisil, I'm an LVN. I'd like to read a support letter from James Atkins, Assistant Principal at Indio Middle School. To whom it may concern, I am writing to express my sincere appreciation and support for the invaluable contributions made by the nursing department. Their dedication and expertise have proven essential in providing specialized care for the students with various medical needs, particularly those with diabetes and seizure disorders that attend our school. In cases of our diabetic students, the nurses have played a critical role in monitoring blood sugar levels, educating students on proper self-care and responding swiftly to any medical concerns. Their proactive approach ensures that students can manage their conditions effectively throughout the school day, enabling them to focus on their academic success without unnecessary worry. For example, when a student experiences an episode of hypoglycemia, the nurses are always quick to assist with the appropriate care, ensuring that the student receives the attention they need to stabilize safely. Another example would be that they are on campus to administer the proper medication for our students. Similarly, for students with seizure disorders, the nurses have consistently demonstrated outstanding skill and care. They are well trained in recognizing the signs of an impending seizure and are prepared with the necessary tools and protocols to manage the situation. Last year, when a student experienced seizures, the nurses responded calmly and efficiently, ensuring the student's safety and comfort while minimizing disruptions to their educational experience. Their abilities to assess the situation and work closely with our faculty and staff have been vital in providing a supportive and responsive environment for these students. The nurses' commitment to creating a safe and inclusive learning environment cannot be overstated. Their ongoing support for students with complex medical needs has made a profound impact on the well-being of our student body, and we are incredibly grateful for their hard work and compassionate care. I fully support the important role of the nursing department plays in supporting all students' medical needs. The positive impact of their efforts is felt daily and is deeply appreciated by both students and staff alike. Thank you for your time.
Francisca Leon.
Good evening. I'm going to read a letter from Evelyn, office specialist. To whom it may concern, my name is Evelyn, and I am an office specialist working at Indio Middle School. I work directly with Ashley Patterson, RN, and Shannon Rothschild, LVN. I have seen both work tirelessly on campus and off to ensure the health needs of our students are taken care of. We currently have 4 diabetic students One in particular is consistently up in the health office with high or low blood sugars. Most of the time they come up, we don't have an in-office nurse or health technician. Both Ashley and Shannon assist so much via phone. However, it will be amazing if we can have a physical nurse on campus. I know myself as well as the students feel comfortable when we have a nurse here. We also had a severe incident the previous year where both Shannon and Ashley immediately came to the school. This is when paramedics were called and we sent 8 students to the hospital. They are both such a big help, along with Sandra Martinez, LVN. I know I speak for our office staff when I say that we appreciate everything our nurses have done for us and for our students. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Okay. 19, General Functions Business Services. There are 7 items in General Functions Business Services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
So moved. Take as a group, Porras.
Second, Alvarez.
Discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. General Functions Educational Services. There are 6 items in General Functions Educational Services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
So moved, Porras, as a group.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. General Functions Personnel Services. There are 6 items for General Functions Personnel Services. I would like to motion to table items 21.5 and 21.6 until the board has provided more information. Is there a second?
Second, Porras.
So any discussion on this? So my concern with the calendar for the 2 years that are on the agenda is that the board was not provided really any information that the calendar committee discussed. The information that was provided to us, and I'm going to read it because I screenshotted it, was that the calendar committee looked at the data from June, August, and September and discussed feedback from staff and families regarding the current year's calendar. I am a family. I was never asked for my opinion on the calendar. So I would like to know what is that information that was discussed during that meeting. Previously, last year, we were provided with a chart that gave us the pros and cons for the different calendars. I would like to see what were the options that were actually even considered or discussed during that those meetings. I know there were multiple meetings. My other concern is that I received an email from a student regarding the calendar prior to the board even having any discussion, any feedback that this was going to be on the calendar. So I feel like there has been some discussion with staff, with students, which to me I feel is inappropriate and premature. And I think that there's more discussion that should be had regarding the calendar and provided to the board before making those decisions on those 2 years. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 to table those 2. Is there a motion for items, to take items 21.1 to 21.4 as a group or individually?
Motion to take them as a group.
Is there a second?
Second, Duran.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. General Function Student Support Services. There's 1 item for General Function Student Support Services. That doesn't need to be. Is there a motion?
So moved, Alvarez.
Is there a second?
Second, Porras.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. General Function Superintendent. There's 1 item in General Function Superintendent. Do we have any nominations?
Yes, I have nominations for Delegate Assembly. Madonna Jarrell from Palm Springs, USD. Cleveland Johnson from Moreno Valley, USD. David Sanchez from Beaumont USD, Stephen Schwartz from Temecula Valley USD, Melissa Williamson, Beaumont USD, and Eric Ditweiler, Harupa USD.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Consent items, student matters. Dr. May Volmar.
Yes, tonight in closed session, the board took action to approve the following student matters. Admission case number 24/25-01 on a motion made by trustee Porras, seconded by trustee Alvarez. The motion carried 4-0. Reinstatement case number 22/23-64 on a motion made by trustee Alvarez and seconded by trustee Duran. The motion carried 4-0. Stipulated expulsion case 24/25-09 on a motion made by trustee Duran, seconded by trustee Alvarez. The motion carried 4-0 with the addition of adding counseling as a condition of reinstatement. On stipulated expulsion case 24/25-18 on a motion made by trustee Pierce, seconded by trustee Alvarez, the motion carried 4-0. Sorry. Oh, I apologize. That was Porras. Thank you. All right, and that's it.
Consent items, business services. There are 17 items in consent items, business services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
So moved as a group, Porras.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Consent items, educational services. There are 12 items in consent items, educational services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
So moved as a group, Alvarez.
Is there a second?
Second, Duran.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Consent items, personnel services, there are none. Consent items, student support services, there are 8 items in consent items, student support services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
So move to take them as a group.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Consent items, superintendent, there's 1 item in consent item, superintendent. Is there a motion?
So moved, Porras.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Personnel action certificated, Dr. Hyde.
All right, good evening. It's my honor to announce that we have 4 retirements. These individuals, I'm going to load this up front, 90 years of combined service to the district. So just think about how impactful the impact they've had on our students and our staff members and families in Desert Sands, and we commend them for that. First person on the list is Janine Benner, special education teacher, who's retiring after 16 years of service. Second is Lorraine Hazel, another special education teacher, retiring after 29 years of service to the district. Mark Hernandez, a teacher at Amistad High School, was retiring after 28 years of service. And last but certainly not least is Maria Mendoza from Dr. Carrion Academy, who's retiring after 17 years. Congratulations to all of these valued employees.
Is there a motion?
So moved, Porras.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion?
Well, as usual, in the words of Gary Tomac, congratulations for making it to the finish line and enjoy your retirement.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Personnel actions classified, Dr. Hyde.
Great, thanks. And Laura just gave me a little clarification. Both Janine Benner and Lorraine Hazel, although they work in special education, they're both speech and language pathologists, and so we want to recognize them for the roles they actually had in our district. So kudos. Moving on to classified, again, 4 employees, again, a remarkable number of years dedicated to our district, 62 combined years of service. I'd like to start with Daryl Cooper. He's in the transportation department. He's retiring after 11 years. He's a bus driver. Michelle Kieran, she is a library specialist who is retiring from Monroe Elementary after 26 years of service to the district. And then April Morrison, office technician, Palm Desert High School, retiring after 19 years. And finally, Ernestine Rubio at Creo Ranch Elementary School, school site monitor, retiring after 6 years of service to the district. Thank you to all of these amazing employees for their service and dedication to our district and our students.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Call out of closed session actions. Dr. Mabelmar.
Yes, tonight in closed session under item 3.2, General Release and Settlement Agreement, SSS number 08/2023-2024, on a motion made by Trustee Duran, seconded by Trustee Alvarez. The motion was carried 4-0. Also, settlement claim number 24-L-03 was passed on a motion made by Trustee Porras, seconded by Trustee Duran, and the motion carried 4-0. In closed session, the board took item to accept the suspension of classified employee 231747, groundskeeper 1, under the progressive discipline procedures, with a motion made by Trustee Porras, seconded by Trustee Alvarez, and it was a unanimous 4-0 decision. And in closed session tonight, the board took action to accept the suspension of classified employee 65858, paraeducator 2, special ed, under the progressive disciplinary procedures. This passed on a motion made by Trustee Duran, seconded by Trustee Porras, and it was a unanimous vote of 4-0.
Okay, suggestions for future agenda items that receive at least 3 votes. Ms. Pierce?
I have none.
Ms. Porras?
I have none.
Mr. Alvarez?
Further information on the calendar.
Duran? I have none as well, but before we leave, I would like to wish everybody a very happy break and happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. Happy New Year. We will see you in January. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will be January 21st, 2025 in the District Education Boardroom, 47950 Dune Palms Road, La Quinta, California. We do not need to reconvene to close session, and this meeting is adjourned at 9:07 p.m.